In today's episode, I want to introduce you to the PDF version and the OneNote version of the ProfessorBlackmore.com e-trial notebook template. In addition, I will also demonstrate some practical uses using our sample automobile bicycle collision case entitled Winters versus Ramirez, while I demonstrate OneNote's powerful features.
Great to hear. Listen, Caroline just called. She's about to have the baby. I was just on my way to court, but now I've got to go to the hospital. I really need you to try this case for me. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, a car and a bicycle collided at an intersection near downtown. The bicyclist claims that the driver was speeding and wasn't paying enough attention to the road. Now, she wants him to pay for the cost of the bike plus her medical bills. The driver claims that he had the right-of-way and that the bicyclist ran a stop sign. This case file has all the documents you'll need plus my notes for the opening statement. We just picked the jury yesterday and testimony starts today. Anyway, good luck. I owe you one.
Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore, and I want to welcome you back to my channel and to another episode in my ProfessorBlackmore.com e-trial notebook podcast series. And today, I want to talk to you with renewed energy around the PDF version and the OneNote version of my e-trial notebook template. And so, if you are a trial attorney or litigation paralegal or legal assistant, and your trial notebook or your litigation files look like this, then you better stick around, because I'm going to show you how to take all of this paper and transform your trial litigation operations into a streamlined, automated, paperless approach that syncs through the cloud, making your entire trial notebook and even your entire law office accessible wherever you are, and transforming your trial litigation procedures to an automated, efficient operation like this.
Right around 8:20 every morning, you'll see about 10, 15 DAs carrying this rolling cart right behind them. Stacked to the brim, sometimes 2 buckets on top of each other. All of our notes, all of this data that's just sitting there in a bucket going back and forth. And files get lost, and we have to recreate them, we have to print them out. And to cut out that much movement of our really important data was a goal of mine. Combining digital handwriting with PDF searchable capabilities essentially makes that trial notebook and yellow pad, combine them into one, and puts it in the same place with everything accessible. To reduce the amount of paper, I think increases the amount of efficiency that an office can have. Once you get to the point where you're preparing for trial, then a lawyer transitions into a teacher or mentor. We begin to develop the lesson of that case and what we're going to teach a jury. So when you have a tab notebook with 250 pages of reports in it, and you have a OneNote trial notebook configured, PDFs inserted, to be able to have that information that is stored on our servers accessible, and that is all searchable when we're at court, allows us to make that critical decision with every bit of information that we could possibly need. We need to have that information in front of us. Every decision we make can have an impact on someone else's life. The Surface Pro 3 gives mobile access to the files, and not just their files, but everyone's files, if need be. Sort of eliminates the need for all.
Now, I originally created this e-trial notebook template in OneNote to eliminate the need to print out hundreds of pages of documents, excluding actual exhibits that don't necessarily need to be printed to successfully conduct the trial. And that is because OneNote was always linked to OneDrive, enabling the ability to add all types of media to a particular OneNote notebook, which are immediately uploaded to OneDrive, causing anything that is added to immediately sync through the OneDrive cloud storage, making it accessible on all versions of OneNote. So, anyone who is sharing the notebook will have access to all real-time changes, and they can access the information on their iPhone or iPad or other mobile device using the online version of OneNote or on their desktop or laptop using the desktop version of OneNote. But these days, all of the Microsoft applications, such as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc., are all also synced in OneDrive, and quite frankly, anything on your desktop can be configured to sync through OneDrive. And so, with this in mind, I have also created a PDF printable version of my eTrial notebook template as well, for those attorneys who just can't see themselves or vision their work being performed in the cloud. Now, one of the reasons that my eTrial notebook is so popular is because it helps you to organize your case for trial from the moment the new case is established in your law office, so that when the time comes to go to trial, most of the work is already completed, because each section of the template includes instructions for your office staff to follow, and because most attorneys have standard items that they will want in all of their trial notebooks, so it is efficient to have a standard template. Along with your purchase, you will also receive a copy of the ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial Notebook Workbook, which explains the philosophy of each section included in the eTrial Notebook. In addition, many of the forms needed for a standard personal injury case are also included in the eTrial Notebook template. A full listing of all of the forms can be found in Section 1 of the eTrial Notebook template, which is also available for purchase on my website. Now, I have included a link in the description section below, and these forms again are included in my templates, but the forms can also be purchased separately on my website. And again, I have included the link in the description section below. Now, the PDF version of my OneNote eTrial notebook was made using PowerPoint, and so I've also included the PowerPoint version in the PDF version of the template as well, so that you can delete sections that are not applicable to your case or that are not applicable to your style of trial presentation. And you can even move sections around and create your own standard template that you can use to efficiently create eTrial notebooks for your subsequent trials. Now, each section of the eTrial notebook starts with instructions, so that if you have staff members in your office helping you to construct your trial notebook, then they'll be able to use the instructions to make sure that all of your litigation objectives for the trial are met, and so that all of the subsequent sections and subsections are completed correctly far in advance of your next trial, without the trial lawyer having to stop and direct every aspect of the preparation. Now, in this training, I'm also going to start from the beginning of the process of how to use OneNote as a beginner. And I want you to go along step by step with me through all stages of this litigation, through discovery, motion practice, and the final trial phases of this case. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat or in the comments section below. Now, if you miss any of the steps, I hope you might be inspired to purchase the full course, and I hope you might also consider purchasing the OneNote or the PDF version of my eTrial notebook. And so, let's get started. Now, step 1 of the process is to get a Microsoft OneNote account after you have successfully downloaded the latest edition of OneNote on your computer and the latest edition of the app on your mobile devices. And so before using OneNote, you have to have a OneNote account. And this is extremely important if you have purchased one of my OneNote templates, because you cannot use the OneNote template if you do not have a OneNote account and if you do not have OneNote downloaded on your computer and or your devices. Now, OneNote files sync through the cloud using OneDrive. And whether you know it or not, you may already be using OneDrive to sync many of your Office files like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. because you'll see sometimes your files will say that they're saving or that the file is already saved. Well, that means that that file is connected to your Office OneNote account. Notwithstanding, if you do or do not already have a OneNote account, it is free. And so if you do not already have a OneNote account, you'll want to navigate to OneNote.com. And when you get there, you're going to see this purple screen with a cute bicycle. And if you already do have a OneNote account, just wait here and I'll let you know when to pick up again along with us so we can all proceed together again through this training podcast after I go through the steps of how to set up a new OneNote account. Now, when you create this account, you are really creating a Microsoft account. We'll create accounts for all of the Microsoft apps, including these two apps that we will be talking about today, which are OneNote and OneDrive. And so the next thing you want to do is to hit this purple sign up button right here. Next, you want to type your email address in here. And then once you put your email address in, then you want to hit the next button. Then you want to type in a password that you want to use to secure your account. Then you will receive an email that'll have an access code. You'll need to come back and put in your access code, and then you will also need to verify that you're not a robot by putting in another code here that's being provided to you. And now, once you do all of this, you're all set. And at this point, you're going to be prompted to now put in your new email address and password, and then you want to hit next. And then once you put in your password, then you want to press the sign in button. Okay, so here is what your new OneNote account looks like when it's first set up. And now before we go any further, I'd like to ask that you please help my channel by hitting the like button. And I hope you'll also share this episode with others so that I can grow my channel community. Now, step 2 of the process is to understand how OneNote and OneDrive work together. And this is a good place for us all to pick up and proceed together again now that we all now have our OneNote accounts set up. Because this will introduce you to OneDrive, which is important in understanding how OneNote works. And now that you have a OneNote account, it means that you now have an account to use all of the online versions of all of Microsoft's features, like the online version of Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and yes, OneDrive. And this is how OneNote works, which can be a little confusing because it actually requires these two similarly named Microsoft's apps to work, i.e. OneNote and OneDrive. And so all you have to do is to go right up here to this little section of boxes, and you just want to go over to OneDrive, and you'll see here is your OneDrive account. And I will be switching back and forth between my Professor Blackmore OneDrive account and this other account that I will be using to show you how the free account looks. Now, I want to show you what else you get with this free version of OneNote, and that is your free OneDrive account with 5 gigabytes of storage space. Now, some of you may have a OneNote law firm account, and so this free version of OneNote is different from the account that your law firm has installed, because the OneNote account connected to your law firm accounts have way more storage space, and because of the privacy required for law firms maintaining client data, those accounts have way more security as well. And if you're using the free account as opposed to your law firm account, you can see over here where it'll show you that you have 5 gigabytes of storage space in the free version, and it will show you how much of that has been used thus far. Now, as you can see here on my Professor Blackmore OneDrive account, I have a premium account, so I have more than the 5 gigabytes of storage. To get to the place where most of your documents will be stored, you want to click My Files. Then click the Documents folder. And here is where all of your documents are stored that are linked to your OneNote account. And so whenever you make a new notebook, it is saved here in this Documents folder in OneDrive. And this is how everything you save in OneNote syncs through the cloud. It is synced through this Documents folder or wherever the file is saved here in OneDrive. Now, everything that I put into my notebook will sync automatically to all of the versions of OneNote that I'm using through this particular file right here in OneDrive. And if I click on one of these files, it will open in the online version of OneNote. And you can tell the difference between the different versions of OneNote that you're using because your desktop version should say OneNote for Windows 10 at the top. And if you don't see OneNote 2016 or OneNote for Windows 10 at the top in a blue banner up at the top, not blue, but a purple banner up at the top, then you're using an old version of OneNote, and you may want to try to get the newest version because in my opinion, it is much easier to use. And again, to download the latest version of OneNote, you need to go to OneNote.com, and up at the top, in the top left-hand corner, this is where they have it now, up in the top left-hand corner in black, you'll see the download button. Now, whenever I want to create a new notebook, I like to do so using the desktop version of OneNote. And I would never normally create a new notebook using the online version of OneNote because you'll see that you have way more capabilities in the desktop version. And you want to make sure that everything is set up the way you want it in the notebook. So that is why you want to use the desktop version to create your new notebooks. Then you can always use the mobile devices to access the online versions when you need to. Now, whenever you purchase one of my OneNote notebook templates, you will receive a link for that template. And when you get the link, you want to navigate to OneDrive and log into your account using the same account that's linked to the email address that is associated with your OneNote account. And that is the same email address that you want to provide if you want to purchase one of my OneNote templates, because I will be sharing the OneNote notebook template that I create for you by sharing it with that email address that you provided, and only that email address will be able to access the template. And so I want to stop and say this with a great amount of clarity. A law firm OneNote account and a OneDrive account are different from a personal OneNote and OneDrive account. The law firm accounts, again, are created with a certain level of security that you need when you are managing files that contain client personal information that is totally different from the personal accounts that you can just log on and create on your own on the Microsoft website. So all of the things that I am sharing with you today relate to how things work using a personal OneNote or OneDrive account, because sharing files from a personal account is totally different from sharing files from a law firm account. So if you want to be able to share a OneNote notebook outside of your law firm account, do not create the notebook using your law firm OneNote account. And if you want to purchase one of my templates, it is best to use your personal OneNote account to do so. Then you can always open that notebook in your law firm account and copy information from it within your law firm account. And if that is something that you're interested in getting more information about, please let me know by leaving your comments in the comment section below. And so, if you purchase a OneNote notebook template from the ProfessorBlackmore.com website, you want to go to your shared folder and you should see the notebook there. If not, go to your homepage folder, or you can go to your My Files folder. Then click your Documents folder, like we did a few minutes ago. And you should see the notebook in either of these two places. But when you get the link, you can just click on the link and it should take you directly to the notebook if you're already logged into OneNote. But when you get the link, you can just click on the link and it should take you directly to the notebook if you're already logged into OneNote or OneDrive. And when you click on the link, it should open the online version of the notebook in your OneNote account. And you should immediately make a copy of the template and use the copy so you won't modify the template that you just purchased, because you want to be able to refer back to your template in its original format. Now, in the email that comes along with your OneNote template, I provide instructions for 2 ways of making a copy of a OneNote notebook. And my preferred way is by opening the notebook in your desktop version of OneNote and manually creating a new notebook and then copying each section of that notebook into the new notebook that is now created in your own OneNote account. And you want to do this because it makes this notebook that you have just purchased from my OneNote account, well, it makes this notebook now your notebook created in your own OneNote account, and it is no longer a shared notebook and nobody else will have access to that notebook at that point. Then, to create a new OneNote notebook, you want to make sure you are using the desktop version of OneNote. And the most important thing that you want to do is to make sure that you are logged into the account where you want the notebook to be copied. And you can simply go down to the left bottom corner and hit the New Notebook button. Then you want to give the new notebook a name. Now, I'm going to name this notebook PBDC, ProfessorBlackmore.com, Test Winters versus Ramirez Trial Notebook. Then you want to go through the steps of copying each section. Now, you can also make a copy of this notebook by going into your OneDrive account. Simply select the notebook, then go up to the top menu and select Copy To. Then specify the place where you want to copy the notebook in OneDrive. Then select the Copy Here button. Then when you do so, you'll see a message indicating that you have successfully copied the notebook. And if you click on the link, it will take you to the place where you copied the notebook. You'll want to immediately rename that notebook so you won't be confused about which one is which. And so, either of these methods can be used to copy an entire OneNote notebook. Now, also in this episode, I want to introduce you to my sample automobile bicycle collision case, Winters versus Ramirez. And as you can see here on the traffic collision report, the plaintiff, Suzanne Winters, was riding her bicycle on Homer Street, and defendant Mario Ramirez was driving his automobile on Main Street. Now, as you can see more clearly here on this diagram, there are stop signs on Homer Street, but Main Street does not have any stop signs. In addition, the plaintiff, Miss Winters' neighbor, Lisa Oshima, was standing right here across the intersection of Homer Street and Main Street. And so, I will refer to this sample case to demonstrate aspects of the e-trial notebook as we proceed. But, as you can imagine, we will possibly have certain exhibits, such as the accident collision report, this diagram, medical records, property damage estimates, etc. And in a case like this, you might also have deposition transcripts from the parties, third-party witnesses like the plaintiff's neighbor, Miss Oshima, and the police officer, as well as deposition transcripts from the plaintiff and the defendant's expert witnesses. But when you look at a glance at the contents of the ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial notebook by looking at the index, you can see how the eTrial notebook template is set up. But when it's time to actually go to trial, you may find that you don't want to include all of these sections, and you may want to add additional sections. Like here in the template, it includes a section for deposition summaries. But some attorneys may want to add a section to include actual deposition transcripts, where they may want to include the condensed transcripts of each deposition. Now, as stated earlier, the PDF version comes with the original PowerPoint version, so you can simply go into the PowerPoint version and remove and/or add sections as desired to achieve your own desired template. For the OneNote version, you can simply make a copy of the template that we just described before when you receive it, so you don't modify the original template. Then you can modify the copy to make the desired template to suit your particular trial presentation style. Now, when I come back in the next episode of this podcast series, I will demonstrate some of the things you'll find in section 1 of the Professor Blackmore eTrial notebook template, which is the plan section, as well as some practical uses using our sample case, Winters versus Ramirez. But in the meantime, if you might consider constructing and using your own eTrial notebook, the OneNote version or the PDF version at your next trial, or if you have any questions, please let me know by leaving your comments in the comments section below. And if you found these tips useful, I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this episode and my entire channel by donating to the Professor Blackmore Cash App, which is $ProfBlackmore. And I hope you'll also subscribe to my channel, and please also set your notifications and turn on your notifications so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more law office automation and paralegal tips. And if you'd like to purchase a copy of the ProfessorBlackmore.com OneNote eTrial notebook or the PDF version, please visit me on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.